home once I did my homework and everything like that, and I went through my son's IEP, and I noticed that she had copied and pasted. So I saw Zamir Jackson. My son's name is Syed Cohill. I'm like, who is Zamir Jackson? I'm like, okay, highlight. So, all right, I already got my school supplies. So I'm like, highlight, post-it note, what's that? Then I'm like moving on, and it was like benchmarks that weren't applicable to his status. And I said, oh, this woman just dragged somebody else's file over to my son's name and thought we were going to sit down and move forward amicably with my son's education, not I, said the cat. So when I got into the room, I had no liaison, no help, no outside sourcing like they have now, Penn Network and all these other places that, you know, provide advocacy and different work like that. I went in there with myself. God knows my assistants, people who work with me, they tell you, oh, you should have been a judge, you should have been a lawyer, something, you missed your calling. Because when I want to find something out, I'm gathering all of my evidence, and I got all of my ducks in a row when I come at you. So I went into that room. Little did the woman know I had already Xeroxed a copy of the IEP, but I had sent it back unsigned. So when I got into the room, listen, when I got into the room, I said, listen, I took off school for this, and in nursing school, it's no such thing as a D. Like, you can't go beyond a 75 or you will fail nursing school. Like, that is just the parameters. It's no such thing as, oh, I passed with it. You know what I mean? You have to have a 75 and above. So I said, I'm taking time off to be here. We need to get this done. So the woman said, I said, so I want to talk about the IEP that you sent home with my son. It was falsified. She said, what IEP? I said, the one that I put all of my notations on and everything, and I sent back. She said, no, I sent an IEP home and you never signed it. I said, oh, okay. I said, so you don't have it? She had redid it, made the revisions based upon where I highlighted. So, but listen, you omitted evidence. So I had Brian Sickett, who is now retired because of my son's case, from the school district. I had him on the conference call. I said, Brian, I said, I am sitting here in this room with the counselor, the principal. I said, and I have an issue where my son's documents is being falsified. And he said, well, Kel'li, I'm listening. So on the conference call, I said, this woman here has omitted evidence. I have an IEP that she sent home last night. She had no knowledge that I Xeroxed this, and I have it here in my hand. I said, and also with it, I have a list of demands. So literally, when she said how fast cases are closed and solidified in school districts, it can happen like at the blink of an eye, and they will say, oh, well, go out and hire Mike and hire all of these good school district lawyers. I know all of them. And I said, listen, I said, I don't need to hire nobody, baby. I got this right here. I said, I'm going to need this. My son takes a cab back and forth to school. Everybody knows this. They're like, oh, your son, oh, y'all rolling in the dough, and y'all just like, I said, no, these were specific things that I filled out for my son to have in place that day of that meeting, because I knew God showed me that she was going to do that. So the counselor just sat back in her seat, and she said, like, they were just like impressed with the room, like, oh, wow, this lady had her issue together in here today. So I said, my son needs, a cab service back and forth to school. He will also need a stipend for furniture and apartment when he's 21. I said he needs a full ride to college. I said these are just meager accommodations that I feel is applicable to what happened in the room today. And they were like, well, yeah, let's get it done. Yeah. Like, everybody's quiet now. Let's get it done. So just God always puts me strategically to be able to identify with somebody, and I automatically feel the spirit when I walk into the place. That's why when I said I saw you, I said, oh, hi, how are you? I could feel it. Like, and I don't go off of titles and all of that, because I am anointed by God. I was anointed in my mother's womb. I know exactly who I am. Listening to this young woman speak about doubt and things like that, I had that mother who I used to go to school, and I would be upset that I was cute. And we went to school together, and my mom, I used to cry. I used to come home, and I used to be like, Mom, they keep saying that, oh, I think I'm cute, and oh, I think, she said, no, that's because they think you cute. That's what they think about you. But then I turn around when I get an adult, my mother used to say, oh, you swear you're so smart, you swear, so it started to tear me down. You told me that this is what the people thought of me, but now you're tearing me down too. How do I escape from that? So I was hiding, and like she said, walking in your greatness. I didn't even want to be anybody I wanted to just shrink away so that you could be comfortable around me. And right now I'm speaking from a place of deliverance because I just recently was delivered from that. And I had an event, Church Girls Unfiltered, talking about these conversations that churches don't address. When you treat somebody poorly when they walk in a room just because they like to put themselves together nicely, you don't know what I came through, you know. And I hear now, you know, people say, oh, well, girl, you always so sharp. You don't even understand. I do this for me. I did not have you in mind when I got up this morning. This was all for me. And I said, look at how good you look. Look at how smart you are, because people will tear you down. You can't please nobody. Nobody, no matter how much greatness you do. And I was sharing with my neighbor here, and she's so anointed by God. I said, this was strategic today, sis, because when she stood up and talked, it was like a mirror of myself. When she was talking about how women need to really understand their role, and it's okay to be empowered. It's okay to attend these luncheons, but don't edge the man out, because he's so important and he's so great and he's so needed and necessary in this dispensation for us to move on. And we have to reinstate why we're here, because we were called upon since the beginning. He was here doing his thing long before we got here. You understand what I'm saying? So don't be so great that you can't celebrate husband in the back and say, look at how wonderful he is. I love when she did that. She said, oh, and shout out to my illustrator. That's him right there. I love to see the celebration of other people. So when I started just, you know, going through this, you know, overcoming the enemy stuff, I was just going down the line. I said, dang, I said, sis, done broke that poem down, because all I would write about was just all of the pain. I never wrote a good poem in my life. I never wrote a happy poem in my life. I had a column when I was 14 years old writing for Myers Playground, and it was Kel'li's column, and I talked about nudity, and I talked about virginity, and I talked about violence and marijuana, opioid addiction, and I was 14. You understand what I'm saying? So these things I would just want to talk to and the people in the community about. And not a lot of people I could identify with. Yeah, I could fight. Yeah, we could fight. But my mother, I grew up in a place where I was the only person in my family born in Philadelphia. And nobody knew that. I was an Army kid. We landed in Philly. And my mother and father, they separated. My father is in Kansas. I just stayed here. So I didn't have the cousin around the corner, the sister down the street, the grandmom that from the back block. No, my mother used to be like, what happens in my house stays in my house. You don't tell nobody that we got nothing. Don't act like you rich. Don't act like nothing. I'm talking about seriously. But it was hard to hide. We got 5 Cadillacs outside. You see what? You know, people are going to know. You know what I mean? So, but my mother, she was like very strict. And my mother is sick now. But overcoming the enemy, like she said, car accidents.